What's the profit incentive for reading fantasy books?
Immediately after it comes out of my mouth, this feels like a ridiculous question, but it's one that me and my friends find ourselves asking a lot.
Why do we engage in the imaginative exercise of reading fantasy when there's a lot of work to be done? Well, it turns out this isn't just an issue with our generation in the 2020s, because almost half a century ago, Ursula K. Le Guin, a fantasy author, tackled the question in an essay on sci-fi. To read War and Peace or Lord of the Rings plainly is not work. You do it for pleasure. And if it cannot be justified as educational or self-improvement, then in the Puritan value system, it can only be self-indulgence or escapism. In the businessman's value system, if an act doesn't bring an immediate tangible profit, it has no justification at all. So if this is a feeling that's been growing for decades or even centuries, how do we reason with it? How do we let ourselves read fantasy without any self-judgment? And why should we read it? Well, the first answer is that it's fun. If that's enough for you, then I'm jealous of you, and I want to be like you. But if it's not enough for you, let's keep exploring. Reason 2 is that fantasy and sci-fi are great practices for the imagination. If you can start to think of a world where dragons and fairies and hobbits exist, you can start to imagine a world that's more just, more kind, more resourceful, and more cooperative. You can imagine things that aren't there. So through fantasy, you can begin to craft a new reality. Or put more poetically, the use of imaginative fiction is to deepen your understanding of your world and your fellow men and your feelings and your destiny.
Follow the Magnus Commonplace for more artistic explorations.